Okay, hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the Wealthy Woman Playbook, and this is our Tuesday tips from the top. I'm your coach, Jess.
And I'm your host, Tara.
Oh my gosh, you guys. Today we are going to be talking about what we titled it is Mirror Talk, the power of projections. And Tara and I have actually been in our own mastermind over the last 5 weeks. And we're always telling you guys, right? Like invest into your growth, invest into your development, because even at the
Non-negotiable.
level, non-negotiable, even at the level that we're in, we always are investing into masterminds, group coaches, group coaching,
Mhm.
courses, masterminds, master classes, like anything and everything to continue
Yep.
to grow and to develop, because the worst thing that can happen to an entrepreneur is stagnation. Like if you're an entrepreneur, the goal is to always be hitting your next ceiling and blasting through that, hitting your next level. And the only way to do that is through your own growth and your development. So Tara and I have actually been in a high level mastermind over the past 5 weeks with people who are specifically have a fifth line in their human design. And it has been so interesting because here's how this happened. I don't know if you
Yeah.
guys know much about human design. I have played with it a little bit over the last couple years, to just kind of understand my type, energy, my design, a little bit who I am, but I never really dove very, very deep into it. So I knew I was a manifesting generator, a 3-5, and kind of what that looked and meant for me. And so my mentor was like, "Hey, I'm having this fifth line mastermind. I think that it would be really beneficial for you. If you want to hop into it, I think it would be really cool." And I was like, "You know what? Let's do it." So I jump into this mastermind, send over the money without even thinking about it. And I text Tara literally immediately after it. And I was like, "Yo, I sent her a screenshot. Next investment unlocked. Let's go." And she's like, "Dude, I want to do it." And I was like,
I
"Wait,
didn't even read what it was or what it was about or anything. I didn't even read the sales page. I was like, I want to do it. And then she was like, well, are you a fifth line? I'm like, what's
wait,
that? She's like, in your human design. So I went to my human design, I screenshot and I sent it. I'm like, I don't know what that means.
am
I'm
I?"
like, mine. She's like, oh my God, we are the same. Da, da, da. And I'm like, all right, sign me up. I literally got on the phone with my bank. It was like late on a Friday night. I had them up the limit. And I'm telling you, I didn't even know, like she said, the fifth line, but I had no idea what that meant. I had no idea anything. I literally just signed up my limit, signed up, got added to the Telegram. I was in, and it was like it was go time. Meanwhile, her and I have 55 million things going on at that
So
time
many.
that we're doing for both businesses, launches, like so many planning, so many things that, people will say sometimes, I want to join this program or this mastermind, but it's just not the right time. Because what do you mean it's not the right time? There's no such thing. You don't set time aside for self growth and evolution. Like when I'm listening, sometimes I can't get on the live calls, right? So what do? I'm listening to the replay in the shower, when I'm getting ready, when I'm cooking, when I'm driving in the car. Like you can multitask and listen to calls. Now, I utilize the chat for when I have something specific going on and I want feedback for it, and I utilize it. No, like there's no such thing as you have time, especially when you want the success and the money and the business that you so desire. You are going to be busy. There's no time to just sit around and be like, yeah, I've got all the time in the world to what? Sit there and watch all the messages come through. It's like, what do you mean you don't have the time? Like you create the time for the things that you find important. Just like I find time to go to Pilates, Jess finds time to go to the gym. She's not a morning person, but one day a week, she knows she's busy. She gets up and goes at 6 a.m. So it's like you find time for the things that are important. And to us, self growth and evolution is just as important as business growth and evolution. And you need both in order to continue to keep on growing and to continue to keep becoming valuable, and also hit those, break those new ceilings, because you will not break new ceilings. And people have this thought process of, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing because what I'm doing is producing results. They might not be like coming in as fast as they want, but they're content with where it's at. However, that will start to stall out because the people that you are helping, they're going to start growing, and then they're going to outgrow you. And you're not going to be able to get to your next level. Your next level is going to take, deep inner work, new stories, working through those projections, which is basically what we're going to be talking about today, because no matter whether you have a business or you don't, we all deal with projections.
It's like people tend to think once I hit my next level, I'll invest. And it's
Yeah.
actually the other way around. It's like
Yeah.
to hit your next level, you have to invest. And the cool thing about it is we get to create our beliefs around it. So for me, my beliefs, every time I invest money, it's like that money is going to return back to me tenfold.
Yeah.
Like I'm not worried about it because even if it doesn't make sense right now, it's going to return back to me tenfold. That's
Mhm.
just my belief. So that's why I'm not afraid to invest to get to my next level because that's what's going to take you there. So then it's
Right.
like all of a sudden I invest into something and more money just comes before I even
Yeah.
had the transformation or
Yeah.
learned the thing or went through the course or went through the program. But it's just because my core belief is when I invest, I'm already taking the next step for my next level. So it already comes into my reality so much faster. So
Right.
people
Because
have it.
money is energy.
Yeah, yeah. So that's not even the topic of today. But I think it's a cool story to lead into what we're going to talk about today, which is projections, which is what we've been learning a lot about in this fifth line
Yes.
mastermind. So you don't have to have a good understanding of like human design and fifth line and what that actually even means because it ties into just being a business owner and being a
Yeah.
human. Having these experiences really go hand in hand together. So do you want to explain to people like what a projection even is? Because I don't think a lot of people are going to know what that is.
Yeah. So basically, a projection is things that, so you can either, the projections happen in different ways. You can project onto other people. Okay. Before I get into the definition, you can project onto other people. People can project onto you, and you can also project onto yourself. Okay. So all of that means is like, say somebody comes, like, says to me, like, a family member or whatever, and they're like, you really should stop posting about your money and your success because other people are going to think, and it's like, no, you think that. This is why a lot of people hinder their growth, or they don't start the business or whatever, is because they're so afraid of what other people are going to think, which again, that is their projection. That is their reality. Their
Mm.
projections and their reality has nothing to do with me and my reality, right? So I'm like, okay, well, I can appreciate your thoughts on that, but that is not actually true. And either way, it's like I don't have to take that on as my belief or as that's actually a reality, right? But what happens is people do. They take the criticism or the judgment or the ideas from people that they love and care about and make that their truth. And that's not their truth. That's not your truth. That's theirs, unless you decide to give that meaning and say that that's your truth, right? We can also project on ourselves, where if I'm looking in the mirror and I'm like, I am so fat, I can't even stand myself. And especially people who go through weight loss transformations, and they have what's it called?
Body dysmorphia?
Thank you. Yes, body dysmorphia. And that's something that my daughter used to struggle with. And she'd be like, "Oh my God, I feel like my legs look so big." And I'd be like, "Des, no, they don't." She'd be like, "Mom, you don't understand. I have body dysmorphia, blah, blah, blah." And then it happened to me where I gained a ton of weight, which we've talked about before on here. And I definitely have body dysmorphia for sure, 100%. And so then I'll project onto myself about so many different things. And that's why we are so mean to ourselves. And the way that we talk to ourselves, we would never talk like that to our children, our friends, even a stranger. We would never go up to them and say the things that we say to ourselves. So we're projecting that onto ourselves and making that a story that feels real, which becomes your reality. Because again, like we've talked about a million times on here, is everything in your physical reality right now is a direct reflection of what you believe. Everything in life is just a mirror showing you your thoughts and beliefs.
Yeah. And I think a really good example for projections, because a lot of people can, I think, understand this one, is like, think about, well, everyone individually has different perceptions, different perspectives, different beliefs, different, they were raised different. They just are in a different part of the country. They have different cultures. Like everyone has a different perspective on life anyway. And so a really good example is to show you guys is like when you say Tara and I, for a good example, release something. We release a course, a program, a mastermind, a podcast, a whatever. There's going to be people who absolutely love it and think it's the best thing since sliced bread. And there's going to be people who absolutely hate it.
Mhm.
Just like Target. I always use this example, just like Target. There's people who love Target, there's people who hate Target. Think about Taylor Swift. I'm not a Swiftie. I don't get it. There is people who will sell their firstborn child to go see Taylor Swift. And then there's people like me who I don't hate her, but like I like don't get it. I don't
Same.
understand it. Doesn't make
Yeah,
sense.
same.
So like everything, everyone, every product, every service, every person, every anything will have and can have a 50-50 split, two sides
Yeah.
to it, where you are the savior or you are the villain. And these projections that people place onto us are very, very heavy to hold
Mhm.
because people love to say things. People love to voice their opinions. People love for, I mean, think about any viral video. There's going to be half the comments where people love it and half the comments where people are just absolutely awful. I always think about the few TikTok influencers that I really loved that scaled when like COVID first started. Some of the greatest influencers that were comedians and they were just funny and lighthearted and loved people, they have shut down their TikTok accounts because of the insane amount of hate that they were getting online, which I don't even understand where like this hate could even come from. But there will always be
Yes.
two sides to the story and two sides to the coin. So for you guys, like when you're just starting a business or you're starting a new venture or you're getting bigger in business, there's going to be people who absolutely hate what you're doing and they want to tell you that. And there's also going to be people where you have absolutely changed their life and you have become like their savior. And so it's really heavy to hold actually both of those because the expectations of the people who think that you're kind of like the savior, that you're going to be the thing that, you know, saves their life is really heavy to hold because you don't want to mess up that expectation. You don't want to come off wrong. You don't want to hurt them, disappoint them or anything like that. And then the people who hate what you're doing, they think your business is a scam. You know, you're lying online. You don't care about your family, whatever it be.
Yeah.
Like it's also heavy to hold that because then a lot of the times we start doing introspection where we're like, are we bad people? Are
Yeah.
we scamming people? Are we worthy? Are we dumb? Are we, you know, hurting other people? So the expectations and the heaviness to hold both is really difficult and can be very difficult. But the thing about it is that no matter what human design you are, if you're in business, if you're trying to elevate your life, you are going to experience this at some level, at some capacity. And the people who are natural born leaders, where people just naturally gravitate to you, it's going to be even bigger. And the more money you make, the more of a downline you have, the more clients you have, it's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. So we have to learn how to hold the duality of both.
Yeah. And it's also like you have to take a look at where is this projection coming from? Who is it coming from? Right?
Yeah.
Are you guys not even on the same level at all? Have they not even experienced like the things that you've experienced, especially in the area that they are projecting onto you about? And then also, think about it like this. The entire world projects onto the Kardashians. Whether you like them or you don't like them, it does not matter, right? They're still going to show up every single day and do what they need to do, right? And people have been projecting onto them for years and years and years. Now, they live their life in the public eye. So people think like, "Oh, well, you signed up for this and blah blah blah." And it's like, "Okay, yes, they did sign up to share their life with the world, but they didn't sign up for you to be rude and to project your negativity onto them, even though it's obviously to be expected, but you don't like it when people do it to you. So why do you turn around and do it to other people, right? I'm going to give you guys another example of this when I finish my point. But they still show up every day. So when we get projections onto us that make us feel a certain way, I have to stop and think, is this ultimately true? No. Um, is that in my heart? No. Are those my intentions? No. So it's like no matter what you say or what you do, people will choose to see you for whatever it is that they want to. Just like people that don't have money love to tell people with money what
Yeah.
they should be doing with their money. Or if they're not in a place of leadership or, power or whatever the case may be, they love to tell people what they should be doing when it's like, okay, well, why don't you should do that because then, maybe your business will grow in a different area, or why don't you lead your people that way, or whatever the case may be, you know? But people love to tell others what they should or should not be doing when they are not in that position or have never experienced that. It's easy to say, just like it's easy to say, if my house caught on fire, I would do this. You don't know what you would do until you're in that situation. It's the same concept, and then the last thing I want to say on this is there was on Facebook, I think it was like earlier this week, there was an interview that, Heidi and Spencer, I don't know if you guys know them from The Hills from years ago. They've been together ever since. They've been on and off in the media. And, again, people love them or hate them. And their house caught on fire in the California fires, and they lost everything. They have two very, very small boys. And also Spencer's mother's house also caught on fire and burned to the ground. So that's two of their, homes that mean a lot. Like that's Spencer's childhood home that he grew up in, tons of memories, tons of everything. Now, whether or not you like them, why are you projecting? And I'm talking thousands of comments from people saying like, oh, well, this is what happens when you spend outside your means. This is what happens when you this, or like, oh, that like, I don't care who you are. Nobody deserves for their home to be burnt to the ground ever. She had to pick up with her two small boys, and just take a couple of things and literally leave because obviously their lives are more important than materialistic things. But that still doesn't negate the fact that all of their memories and all the things that they worked for are gone. Then there's people like, oh, well, why instead of you guys going to expensive dinners and this and that, maybe you should have gotten fire insurance, grown up things. And I'm like, first of all, this is clearly a projection because if you knew anything about that area, they can't get fire insurance. None of those houses over there, because it's so prone, just like there's areas where hurricanes
Florida.
happen and all that, they can't get flood insurance over there because it's just like a known area. Why would you say something like that to people, regardless if you like them or not? Nobody deserves for them to lose their home. Like it baffles me how people, but that's the thing. People project every day. And this is also something that holds people back because they're afraid of being seen because they know that people are going to project onto them and they're afraid of that. But at the end of the day, it's like, half of the people that have something to say, they don't know you. So are you going to listen to what somebody who doesn't know you, never spent a day in your presence, do you really care what they're saying about you? No. I mean,
No.
it hurts as humans to see people in the comments say all these mean and nasty things. And that's why celebrities or influencers at times can be like, well, all these people are saying it. Like, is it true? But people just love to be nasty. They just love to be nasty. And no, ultimately, it is not true.
Well, and the reason that people do this is because they get triggered. And
Yeah.
that's why we'll have, two sides of the coin. Is like
Right.
you will trigger people into inspiration, motivation. Like again, that savior of like you can get me to where you are because you
Taking
triggered
action.
something
Yeah.
positive in me of like you make me see what I can go then do. But then there's also the nastier side of it where you trigger people because they're like, how dare you go after your dreams when I won't go after mine, even if they're not saying it like that. That's what the trigger is, right? Like, how dare you make all of that money when I'm working just as hard? I should be making just as much money. Or how dare you go create that when I should be able to create this? Or how dare you, have the nice home and have the nice everything when I'm miserable over here at my job and this is
Yeah.
what you get, right? It's like we trigger people both ways. And that is inevitable. That's the
Yeah.
hard thing about this. And the hardest part for me through this like fifth line mastermind and like what I've really been learning is my thing is like I know I'm a good person. I know I have pure intentions at heart. Like I know I am good and I want the best for people. So when I get the negative projections where people then make me look like I'm the bad guy, I don't care about people, I want to take from people, I'm just money hungry or anything like that, like it is heavy on my heart because that is the furthest thing from the truth of who I actually am. And Tara and I have been through this. She's been through this with me over the last year because I'll hit her up and I'll be like, did I do something wrong? Am I bad? Was I in the wrong here? And that's the problem with these projections is if we take them on and make them question who we are at true heart, like our self-identity, that's when we get wobbly and that's when we start to sway and that's when we start to play small and we don't want to be seen as much because if we play small and we don't want to be seen as much, less people will get mad at us and less people will, get us mixed up about what our intentions were. And that is the saddest thing that can happen is when we play small and we dim our light because of the fear of those projections. And so that's honestly to always be vulnerable and transparent with you guys is what I've been working on over the last 5 weeks is how to hold the projections of the people who, make me out to be the villain because that's never my intention. But I can't
Instead of
spend my
taking radical responsibility for themselves, they'd rather just turn around and be like, oh my God, she's the villain. Can you believe blah, 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 blah. Instead of like going inward and being like, okay, why is this happening? Or why is she saying that? Like maybe, because here's the thing, like the truth will set you free. And if you can take radical responsibility for somebody being assertive to you and being honest with you, because like I always say, I'd rather, or what is it like? Love me, like, hold on, I forget how it goes. Like something with love me with the like the truth, or something with the I gotta look it up really quickly. But when you go on to your next point, but I'd rather they basically be honest with me, hurt me with the truth instead of lie to me,
yeah,
like make me feel better with a lie, like when you're going out with your friends and your outfit looks absolutely ridiculous and your friends are like, oh my God, you look amazing. No, I want the friend to be like, girl, like, no,
that's
that
not
does
fun.
not look cute. I'm the type of person to say that's not my style, it's not my taste, but if you love it, then you wear it. That's not something that I would personally wear, but you don't have to like what I like. If you are all about it and you feel your best, girl, rock it. But
Do
if you
it.
don't, that's just not something that I would wear. That's how that's how I give my opinion like about things. But I would never tell somebody like, yeah, girl, you look amazing when inside my mind I'm like, she looks crazy. Like, no. You know what I mean? So it's just, but as adults, this is what people deal with. And to look at all of those comments, going back to Heidi and Spencer's, look at all these comments. I mean, there were women with their children in their profile pictures. And I'm like, then these people wonder why there's so many bullies in schools because of the look at the way their parents act. It's
Yeah.
taught at home. Now, don't get me wrong, there are parents that can do everything right and are the, nicest parents and have taught their kids the right way and their kids just choose to go the wrong way. But for the most part, that is learned behavior from what your kids are not going to do what you say, they're going to do what they see you do, which is why it is very important for me to model to my kids how I think that they should choose to live their life and the right way, and how you can, it doesn't matter how your life starts or where you come from, you can have, do, and be absolutely anything that you desire at any point in time. And my daughter got to witness that firsthand. My son, he was too little, but my daughter really got to see us go from the projects, people selling drugs on the corner, shootouts, this, that, and the other, to the life that we have today. Like, very like ends of the spectrum, and she got to see that, and she knows I had zero help and no parents or any of that. So anyways, we as adults have to remember that the projections start with us, right? So if we don't want, it starts with the self-love. When you know who you are and you can love on yourself and speak to yourself and tell yourself the stories that you know to be true, when other people project onto you, for the most part, because we all have weak moments and moments of doubt, but for the most part, it's going to be like, I'm rubber, you're glue, whatever you say sticks back on you. It's true,
Mhm.
because when they say things to you, you're gonna be like, that's not me, that's you, girl. Like you're what you see in me is what you see in yourself.
Yep. 100%. 100%. And it's kind of like what they say out there, that quote where it's like there's no bad press. And they say there's no bad press because even if people see the bad press, they're going to be interested in like what's going on. They're going to go then check out that person and they could fall in love with that person. It happens all of the time. I have
All the
totally
time.
found people that I vibe with and I love based off the contrast of other people talking shit about those people, right?
Mm.
Because again, not everything is true. Not like we all have our own ultimate truth. And so that's the important thing with projections is like not taking on the ultimate truth that people are going to place on you. Because like Tara said, most of the time we get projections like onto us specifically. It's from people we've never even had a conversation with, from
Ever.
people who have never met us in person, never talked to us in the DMs, never had a conversation with us, yet somehow they create a projection, whether it's positive or negative, about who we are as like the truth, the ultimate truth. And it's like, how on one hand can the ultimate truth be we are such good people, and on the other hand it's like we're terrible people? It's because
Yeah.
neither of these things are the truth. The only truth is who our self-identity actually is. Like,
Yep.
and that's why you also can't let your ego blow up with the positive projections, and you also can't let the negative projections completely destroy you. So it's like we have to find this balance, and we talk about all the time duality of like being able to hold the good with the bad and having this balance where it doesn't sway us into who we are. Because again, the positive projections, they can inflate your ego, make you become someone you're totally even not. But the positive or the negative projections can also completely destroy your career, completely destroy who you are. And it starts at being able to manage these things at a small level. Because like, say the moment you start your business, I did this, the moment I started my high ticket business, especially specifically, I had people who were rooting for me, they were supportive, they were excited, and then I had the closest friends to me completely disown me and say horrible things to me. I had both projections. I didn't even realize that that's what this was until the, now. But I had the negative and I had the positive, and I had to learn how to hold those at the level before I was even making money. And the
Mm.
reason we want to, bring awareness to these things is because this is how we grow our emotional intelligence, is being able to handle these things at a smaller level and then increasing. Because not saying it's going to get worse, but like you do handle it at a larger level.
It's just more people.
It's more people. So especially at a leadership level, right? When you have thousands of people you're connected to that you're leading and you're guiding, like then just inevitably there's more people that are going to say things both ways. So you have to have the capacity to hold that. And that's why we try to tell people all the time, like, people pray for leadership, right? And it's easy to say, if I was in your position, this is what I would do. This is what you
Yeah.
should do. This is what you should have done. But it's like, until you're at that level and you've had all the experience guiding you through all the experiences that you have to be at this level, you actually have no idea what you would do or what you should have done. Like, and of course, we could always get better. We could always do better.
Yeah.
But you still don't know. Same thing with like being a mayor. Like, people always have so much shit to talk on politicians, but you have no idea what the F you would actually do if you were given that position of power today. Same thing
Yeah.
with leadership. If you were given the downline of 3,000 people with 1,000 clients, also, plus your spouse, plus your kids, plus all these other things, like, you don't actually know what you would do with that until you're in that position. And that's what I try to remember when I'm placing projections on other people as well. I don't know what I would do if I was actually in their position because I don't have the lived experience to say, right?
Right.
And so this is why, like, we have to run our own damn race. Quit fucking worrying about other people. Quit worrying about what this person should have done, your upline, your downline, your sideline, your president, your CEO, your boss, your sister, who the fuck ever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. We all have different life perspectives, different things that we would do. So the only person you have control of, the only projections, the only thoughts that you have control of are your own. And if we stay in our own damn lane, we'll grow so much faster. So don't take on the projections of other people, and also don't project on other people, because
Or
that tears you
yourself.
down just as fast.
Yeah, or yourself too, because like Jess said, if you live for the cheers, you'll die for the booze. So
Ooh.
if you're always looking for validation, right? You're everything. It's like you're looking for validation from other people. You're looking for validation. Well, when you're not getting the validation and it's very, very negative, then what? Your ego is going to like shrink down and you're going to feel like you're worthless and all of that. No, you don't need anybody to tell you how amazing and how great you are.
No.
You need to know that for yourself, right? And so, think about times in your business where you're like, you know what? I just wish that I had um 15 clients right now, 15 clients, one-on-one clients, or I wish that I was at this level in my business, which would entail, maybe having 200 people. Do you think right now where you're at that you could hold all of those people and be able to lead yourself, lead those people, make sure that they have the systems, make sure that everything that they're going through, that they're coming to you for, that you're able to lead them and guide them and give them the tools and resources and things that they need. Think about that. That's why you're not there yet, because you're not ready for that yet. You can't hold that yet. So we think like we want all of these things right here, right now. But if you were to have that, you wouldn't be able to handle that, which is why you don't have that yet. We think we should be so much further along than where we are. And it's like, no, we're exactly where we should be, which is why if you want to get to your next level, you need to be investing into more support. Also having radical responsibility, a lot of introspection and saying like, how am I handling things? How am I doing things? Like all of that, because again, you will not get to where it is that you want to be if you're not checking with self and how you are acting, behaving, and the things that you're doing as well. It's very, very important because you know, we can't we can't fight energy, right? We think that we're outsmarting energy, or we think that, we are showing up one day on we're showing up every day online and having this persona of like the way people think of us. But then when we get offline, we're acting a completely other way. That's another thing. Like, yeah, people might not see you, but energy does. And what you put out is what you are going to get back every single time. We don't attract what we want. We only attract who we are. So if you want to attract more or better, you have to become more or better and better.
Amen. Yeah.
So,
No,
yeah.
I think that's so good. This is such a good topic for today because, again, like you're going to not struggle, but you're going to experience this at every single level
Oh,
over
yeah.
and over and over and over and over again.
Don't let it take you
So
out of the game, because
it's not worth it.
no, because no matter what in life, think about it. Even if you don't have a business, you're going to have people that project. Again, your coworkers, your family
Boss.
members, your neighbors. If you're a mom and you're involved in the PTA, like think about the other moms that you got to show up and be a certain way so that they're not projecting on, like everything in life, people will have projections. But if you know who you are and you are constantly, balanced, again, people will only people will treat in close proximity, people will only treat you the way that you treat yourself or the way that you carry yourself. They might say things behind your back, but for the most part, in close proximity, there's going to always be that one or two, but for the most part, people will treat you the way you treat yourself.
Oh, and the last thing I will add to this before we get out of here is don't try to convince the negative projections that they aren't real. So, meaning, don't, when you hear the negative projections of like, you should have done this, you could have done this, you're this way, I don't like you, whatever, don't try to then go try to convince them otherwise, because that
Yeah.
is such a waste of time and energy. Because if their mind is made up, it's not going to change anyway. Like, if
Um,
they already don't like you, if they already don't like what you did, who you are, what you're doing, like, you're not going to change their mind. And that
no.
will suck your energy dry by trying to convince other people that they're wrong. Because here's the thing, like I said earlier, being vulnerable with you guys, I would love if I could have a conversation with everyone and like let them know, yo, that wasn't my intentions. This is my intentions. This is truly who I am at heart. If you talk to me, you would know that, but you don't. But like, I can't go have that conversation with however many freaking people. Like,
Yeah.
there's absolutely no way. So also what we have to do, we have to grow a thick skin in this industry and in life in general, but especially in this industry where people like to talk, is like you have to grow a thick skin because you have to let that stuff just roll right off of you. Like if the negative projection comes in, you don't sit with it and be like, "Oh, am I really bad? Am I really this? Should I have done that?" It's like, "Okay, I see that I triggered you. Okay, I hear you. That's it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you
Yeah.
for your unsolicited advice
Yeah.
words. I did not ask, but thank you.
Now,
Like
if your intentions were that, then you need to take
that's
radical responsibility. Right. You need to take radical responsibility for, how you came off or what you did. But if that was not yours and they're just projecting on you, that's where you have that deep innate knowing of who you are and your intentions. And they're just choosing to see it that way because they want to. That's it. They want to see it that way.
yeah, and I'm not going to sit and convince people otherwise.
No.
I know what's true. I know who I am. And again, like Tara said, just nail that one in the head. If you do wrong, right? You do offend someone you didn't mean to. You did something, like, yeah, take responsibility for that. But if you're just moving, you're taking action, you're doing what you know is the next step, inspired action, you're just moving and people don't like the way you move, that's not your problem. It's like
No,
the quote they say, right? Like, other people's opinion about you is none of your business.
no,
And again, just the day of age that it is with social media, it's really easy for people to just throw their unsolicited opinions into your face. But it's just like, okay, I see that I triggered you. I got it. And you can delete, block if you want. Like, the delete and block button is my favorite button on any social media
yeah,
app.
you
Real
get,
quick. And that's just that. Don't absorb it as truth if you know it's not your truth, because that'll take you out. And that's not what we're doing.
that's it. Yeah,
Yeah.
guys. So thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget, we still have On the Daily opened up. We are having so much fun in there. The feedback, of course, as always, has been absolutely incredible. I got 2 messages today from people on Instagram that are joining us and On the Daily. I mean, you guys, there is nothing off limits. We talk about this personal power, boundaries, how to balance business life, work life, how to overcome objections, social media, content. I mean, literally everything you can possibly think of to grow yourself and grow your business is in there. Plus, you have Jess and her energy and the way that, she says and does her thing. And the same thing with me. We tag team back and forth. You're going to get trainings in there anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes. And it's absolutely incredible. So go ahead, click the link down below, get yourself into On the Daily. It's an amazing investment that will help you to grow in all areas of your life. And you get to keep all of the recordings in there as well. So
Think
go ahead
there's
and
over 3 hours in there.
yeah,
And I was on a call yesterday and someone was like, if I get into one of your offers, like, which offer should I get into? And I was like, On the Daily
yeah,
for
I
now. On
agree.
the Daily. On the Daily
I
is the place for you
agree. It's
right
so
now.
good because it's everything, right? And especially when you're in this season of, growing your business and you're like, I need mindset, but I also need strategy. It's like you're getting both. You're not only just getting mindset and strategy and personal power and that, but you're also getting, like how to clear money blocks, like I said, how to balance mom life and family life because we have mom guilt. And then when we're with our kids, we have business guilt. Like we talk about everything that you need to know on how to become a better person, how to become more, how to make more, and just all the strategies in the world. So get your butt in there. You will not be sorry, and you get to keep all the recordings for life. So go ahead, click the link down below, and we will see you guys on Thursday. Did we have anything else we want to share?
I don't think so. I mean, we have something.
Oh,
Oh,
tomorrow at what time are we going to be live?
I think it's 2:30 PST is what we decided.
Okay, so 2:30 PST is 5:30
I think.
EST. We're going to be live on this channel.
I don't
Yeah,
think we've decided, but I mean, yeah, I think
yeah.
here would be perfect.
Okay, we're going to be live on this channel to announce something massive. So mark your calendars. Be there tomorrow, 2:30 p.m. PST, 5:30 p.m. EST. Be there or be square because we have something so incredible that we have been. It's just been in the works for a minute, but it's going to be absolutely incredible, life-changing. So we will see you guys there tomorrow, and we will see you guys on all the social media.